Now, we've got an update on a potential outgoing at Chelsea. We understand Burnley remain in talks with the representatives of striker Armando Broja over the terms of his contract. A deal between the two clubs is fully agreed. Broja has completed his medical. Burnley are optimistic a deal can be finalised this week. And there is plenty going on at Chelsea right now. We'll continue the discussion with Rob Earnshaw in the studio. We look at the future of Nicholas Jackson and a few other squad players at the club. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca earlier in the show about potential outgoings. He said the club text or call him when a player leaves and that he is only working for the ones that we want. Rob, let's bring you back in now. It feels like Maresca isn't too interested or too concerned about the players who are not in his plans. What do you make of those comments?
Interesting. It's interesting how kind of calm he is. Because I think at Chelsea you need to have that calmness, and I think he's managed it excellently over the last year. And the way he kind of just puts, they'll message me, phone me, text me, because I think he kind of files it in a way of, I've got so much things every day, I've got a million things on my plate right now. This is the best way I can manage the current squad and the current team and training sessions and preparing for games is, you let me know. This is the plan. I'm sure, listen, they'll have discussions of what they want to do, which players he wants, which players he wouldn't mind going. I think that's clear. And then after that, I'll leave it to the upstairs who do the business side of it and the negotiations and the recruitment side of it. So he's very calm in the ways like, okay, text me, phone me, and let me know if they're in or they're out. And I'll work with them, or thank you very much, see you later. And I think there's a few players like that who I think you'd want to move on right now, especially the ones that were out on loan last year.
It does feel pretty brutal, doesn't it? Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell, presumably two of the players who aren't in the first team plans, presumably training elsewhere at a different time, not allowed in certain parts of the building. As a player, have you ever been in that situation where you're frozen out, you know you're not going to play for the team? What's that like?
Oh, yeah, I've been in that situation, and it's very, very difficult because, I think sometimes people don't realize the player wants to be involved in training, wants to be involved in the games and be part of the team and contribute. And sometimes it's out of your hands. You have to go and, okay, listen, the rest of the team is in, they're training at 10:30, or you're in at 3 o'clock, and there's about 3 or 4 of you training. It's horrible as a player. I've been in that situation. Very, very difficult. And sometimes it's, like I said, it's out of your hands and you can't do anything about it apart from apply yourself correctly and wait, because maybe your agent wants to, working on a deal and it comes later on. So you just have to stay focused. The biggest thing is, as hard as it is as a football player, you just apply yourself correctly. Training, stay fit, be ready for your move when it comes. And I think, listen, as a player, it's the most difficult thing. I think secondary to one, you've been injured, and number two, when you're not in the plans and you're trying to say, well, I'm kind of in no man's land where I'm here, the contract is here, I'm coming in every day, but I'm not training with the team, and I'm waiting somewhere else that somebody's going to come and obviously take me on as to a different team. So very, very difficult. I can understand completely how those guys feel at Chelsea. And let's face it, I think some of them need a refresh, need a different club, because when you have what we had last year at Chelsea, 30 players and some players not changing, there's not enough room for players to get changed in. That's a big problem for a football club. I've been in that situation where you got so many players and you're all on top of each other in the dressing room, and even times where your kit is in a different dressing room and you kind of feel a distance, you're not part of it. That's the worst feeling for a football player.
Okay, on a related note, there are question marks over the future of Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea. It's understood several clubs are keeping an eye on the striker's situation at Chelsea.
No, Nico is okay. It's okay. I think, as I just said now, when the window transfer is open, unfortunately or fortunately, anything can happen. So this also involve Nico situation. At the moment, we also those are right 2 strikers, both of them in USA, Joao and Liam. So we'll see what's happened. Until the window transfer is open, anything can happen in terms of player arrive, and then anything can happen in terms of player leave.
Now, it's our understanding at Sky Sports News that Nicholas Jackson's valuation in any potential deal would be in the line with the fees we've seen paid for the likes of Hugo Ekitike and Benjamin Sesko if he does go to Manchester United. Do you think Jackson is worth that sort of money based on what we've seen in his 2 years at Stamford Bridge?
I think when you talk about there's a lack of strikers in world football right now, and I think that's also the problem. So when you do have maybe one or two, they kind of almost fall into that category. And when you play for Chelsea, the Man Cities, the Liverpools, your bracket or value is slightly different. I think he's done okay. I think he had a really good season the season before last. Last year he scored 10 goals. The season before he scored 14 goals, but a lot of assists, a lot of contribution. So he's a good player. And I think somebody would be lucky to have him. I think he's a good striker to have. I think Chelsea don't mind, just kind of listening to Mr. Maresca there, I think he's okay keeping him, but he's okay also if he goes.
Chelsea Football Club are on the verge of completing a sensational double signing, with Dutch wonderkid Xavi Simons and Manchester United star Alejandro Garnacho both reportedly close to joining the Blues in a groundbreaking move expected to be announced this weekend. Reliable sources close to the deal have confirmed that negotiations with both players are in the final stages, with personal terms virtually agreed and medicals expected to be scheduled in the coming hours.